The Shah dynasty is a very mysterious point in time. The reality of the Shah dynasty is that even historians don't know much about the area besides what we can see was developed from the Shah dynasty and the myths created around it. Yu was the emperor at the time and seemed to be a successful one. He was the one who took on irrigation and agriculture and kind of brought up the area in a way. The myths created around the Shah dynasty were mainly about Yu as well. In the myth, Yu was basically a god, or what you could also call just a good old hero. In the myth, Yu was able to fight the flood and he won. He stopped the flood and saved the nation. Yu modeled diligence and selflessness. He was more than just an emperor, he was extremely special. There was also a great flood going on as well in the Shah dynasty, but it seemed to be something that really just messed with farming, so they just had to control it. In reality, they just controlled it with the irrigation system. In the myths, Yu won favor with the gods, so that is how they controlled the flood and how he had stopped the flood. The Great Flood was considered different from other great floods that happened in mythology, typically with mythology like the Greek gods, or you could even consider the story in the Bible of Noah and the Ark. The flood happened because God or the gods were mad at people or wanted to wipe out the nation. It was just happening because they weren't happy with the general population. But the Great Flood in the Shah dynasty was not like this. It was just something that was happening. It seemed to just be something that was just naturally occurring and just something that they had control. I think the Great Flood and weather in general shows a lot about our culture. Weather is one thing that no one can control. We can wear rain jackets, or we can wear snowsuits, or just not go outside. But there's no way we can control the weather or just say, oh, rain, stop raining, and then it stops. Whether you believe in God, like I do, or just Mother Nature, or whatever you believe in, we can only rely on higher powers controlling the weather. I think that as humans, we see weather as a sign from a higher power. We see it as something that is bound to happen and something that is greater. I think weather can be a good representation of how we think of the higher powers and how we think the higher powers are looking down on us as a population.